Have you ever had someone tell you that you can't teach an old dog new tricks? It's one of the oldest little idioms in the English language. I bet over my 20-year career in financial services, I must have heard that saying at least 1,000 times. When my 14-year-old son Miles was a really busy 2-year-old, we took him to see his very first movie in the theater. It was the Pixar movie Monsters, Inc. Miles was instantly in love with it. Monsters, Inc. became his life. Mike and Sully, the two main characters, became his new best friends. Over the next few months, my house became littered with every Monsters, Inc. piece of paraphernalia ever created. About a year later, Pixar created another great film, Finding Nemo. We had to take him to see it, but as a Monsters, Inc. loyalist, he had absolutely no interest in a movie about fish. We forced the issue and took him anyway. So my wife Amy went ahead to find us seats in the theater. I stayed behind because Miles, now a 3-year-old, was lying on the floor of the theater, throwing in full tantrum mode, refusing to go see this movie about anything but monsters. I was this close to absolutely losing my you-know-what. I picked him up, threw him over my shoulder, kicking and screaming, and we charged into the theater. I felt like the worst parent on the planet. And on top of this all, this little fit he threw cost us my favorite part, the previews. But luckily for Miles, we walked in the theater about 1 minute into the film, and our timing couldn't have been more perfect. The movie opened up with a scene where Nemo's mom is chomped by a barracuda. Normally a scary thing for a 3-year-old, but not my kid who loved monsters. Miles was instantly hooked. Much like his first experience with Monsters, Inc., he fell completely in love with this new movie, Finding Nemo. Now, I could repeat this story for the next 4 or 5 Pixar films, because it really took until my son was 7 or 8 years old to realize maybe he'd actually like the next film. So he was so stuck in his ways, knowing what he liked and knew, and refused to accept the possibility of any other option. The reason I tell you this story is that it goes back to the idea that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I don't buy that at all. For one thing, old dogs can absolutely learn new tricks. Life's constantly evolving and technology is improving exponentially. From animated films and forms of communication to online banking and strategies for managing your 401k. I also don't buy the old saying because learning new tricks is something we actually resist doing from a very young age. Just take my son. We don't wait until we're old to resist learning something new outside our comfort zone. Being stuck in our ways, resisting change, has nothing to do with being old. It happens from the minute our little ego starts developing opinions. With enough encouragement and coaching, anyone can learn to adapt to something new, even my stubborn 3-year-old. A good friend of mine recently asked me for my advice about what to do with his life savings. It's become substantial and he's really worried about losing it. He said to me, "Matthew, I understand that your crusade is about transforming the way people manage their retirement savings. Being able to quickly transition from offense to defense with my money is smart. But everyone's always told me that buy and hold investing is the way to go. It's all I know, and it's what I'm comfortable with. Maybe you really can't teach old dogs new tricks." There was that saying again. And again, I didn't buy it. For some people, like my good friend, it's been challenging to break away from obsolete buy, hold, and hope investment advice. It's easy to stay with what feels familiar, but mixing feelings and emotions with your decisions about your retirement savings is very dangerous business. Nothing can lead to bad financial decisions more than allowing emotion to creep into the decision-making process. I'm coming across more and more people who are pretty sure that hope's not the strategy they want to bet their entire retirement on, and they're motivated to break away from traditional Wall Street thinking. They realize the reality that retirement's on their shoulders, and they can't risk blowing it by relying on hope. Are you sick and tired of riding the market waves up and down, hoping it all works out for you? Have you ever looked at your 401k statement and wondered if there's a better way to manage it all? If you answered yes to either question, it's time for you to consider another option. My name's Matthew Grishman. I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of 401k Masters. For overwhelmed families hoping to retire comfortably, 401k Masters is the best online tool for systematic, customized advice for their largest and most important retirement assets. You see, unlike the big Wall Street firms, we get you. The 401k Masters GPS-like tool is driven by a rules-based investment strategy called Advance and Protect. Our GPS tool is designed to give you turn-by-turn directions for what to own inside your specific company-sponsored plan. It's also going to tell you when to have your foot on the gas and be fully invested, or when to tap on the brakes and move to cash. Change isn't easy, but as my young son learned after great resistance to change, it's not so bad. In fact, it wound up being even better than what he knew before and pretty worthwhile. Buy, hold, and hope investing worked during the longest bull market in history, from 1984 to 1999. But that bull was preceded and followed by decades of stagnant returns, costing investors millions of dollars in lost retirement savings. Will you wait to experience the same results of the previous bear markets before you consider a new approach? Maybe you should consider a new approach now, before buy, hold, and hope rocks your retirement plan again and your dreams of retiring comfortably gets pushed even farther away. You can gain control of your retirement savings. You can retire on your terms one day. And there absolutely is a better way to manage it all. I'd like to show you how. Visit www.401kmasters.com to learn more.